The ascension of UConn football to Division 1A has been a huge hit in the Nutmeg State. Sellout crowds have become the norm at beautiful new Rentschler Field. And another full house will be on hand tonight for the first ever meeting on the gridiron between the Pittsburgh Panthers and the Connecticut Huskies tonight on ESPN2. It is a night of firsts as ESPN2 brings you college football primetime tonight from East Hartford, Connecticut. It's the first ever Big East Conference home game for the University of Connecticut and their first night game at 2-year-old Rentschler Field as tonight they meet the Pittsburgh Panthers for the first time. And here come the Huskies with a record of 3-1 off a 40-3 thrashing of Army here in East Hartford on Saturday. Good evening, everybody, and welcome. I'm Sean McDonough along with Craig James. Delighted to have you with us. The folks here in Connecticut delighted with their football program in just their third year in Division 1A. They've won 16 of their last 20 games, and Craig, they're led by one of the best quarterbacks in the country.
When you look at Orlovsky's numbers, Dan Orlovsky is one of those guys who you say, who is this guy? But when you talk about his skills on the football field, look what he's done compared to Matt Leinart and Jason White. Now, it's time for Orlovsky to step it up. He has to step it up in Big East play against the Division 1A opponents, and he has to lead his team. As for the backfield, he has a guy who's going to give him some balance. Cornell Brockington is one of those players that not just down the field, but he can get outside. He's got a lot of power, a lot of vision. I think he's a good player. I think you're going to see that tonight.
He's had back-to-back 100-yard rushing games. Pittsburgh in a rebuilding year. They come in at 2-1. They lost 8 offensive starters from a year ago, including Larry Fitzgerald, the best receiver in the country, and Rod Rutherford, a terrific quarterback. His replacement is Tyler Palko.
And Palko has big shoes to fill. You know, he's got to come in there and he's got to find a way for his team to be successful on the road, a very hostile environment. He has to distribute the ball and find the guy. They don't have any one player that they particularly like, so it's important that he doesn't force things, that he goes to the receiver that's open in this ball game.
Pittsburgh and Connecticut coming up in just a couple of minutes here in East Hartford. But first, let's send you back to our studio in Reese Davis.
All right, Sean, thank you very much. Looking forward to a little Big East football here on a Thursday. Mark May is here with me. Usually our partner Trev Alberts joining us. Trev dealing with a family matter tonight, and certainly our best wishes going out to the entire Alberts family. As far as our game tonight, Pittsburgh and UConn, Mark. Pittsburgh, we heard a lot of talk from Sean and Craig about the offenses. Panther defense gave up 38 points in an overtime victory over 1AA Furman last Saturday.
And it was ugly. And over 400 yards in total offense, 280 of those yards through the air. Now, UConn's quarterback Dan Orlovsky should have a field day against this Panther defense. They were only able to generate 1 sack against the Furman offense.
Well, we'll get things started in the Big East in just a little while. Pittsburgh and UConn coming up at the bottom of the hour over on ESPN. We will have Navy and Air Force from Colorado Springs as we pay tribute to the young people in our service academies. Great matchup of option football, bottom of the hour on ESPN. UConn will do it much differently. They'll go up top. Dan Orlovsky with 70 career touchdown passes tries to lead the Huskies to a Big East victory over Pittsburgh. Kickoff coming your way from East Hartford after this.
ESPN2's College Football Primetime, brought to you by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Well, a pleasant night near the Connecticut Capitol. 59 degrees as we approach game time. We had a couple of hours of rain here in the late afternoon and early evening that made the crowd a little bit late in arriving, but they're still filing in to watch Connecticut and Pittsburgh. And we're pleased to be joined tonight by Heather Cox.
Sean, through the first game and a half, Pittsburgh's traditionally potent offensive attack that you guys talked about has nearly been grounded. First-year quarterback Tyler Palko said he had trouble adjusting to the speed of the game. In the first 6 quarters he had as a starter, he threw just 1 touchdown pass and 4 picks. The turnaround came in the second half against Nebraska. Since then, in the last 6 quarters, he's thrown 4 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. The difference, he said, when he let the game start coming to him and when the speed changed from going fast forward to slow motion. Well, the test does continue tonight for Tyler in his first start in a road game on a very soggy field in what has become known as a hostile environment here at Rechler Field, guys.
It is indeed. These fans known for getting loud. As we said, they're still coming in after the rain. Did little, as we saw, to dampen the tailgating outside here earlier tonight. Connecticut won the toss and deferred. So Pittsburgh elected to receive the kickoff. And Matt Nuzzi kicks off for UConn. It comes down to Alan Richardson, right up the hash marks and down at the 23-yard line. Tackled by Danny Lansana after return of 13 yards for Richardson. So now Pittsburgh, led by Tyler Palko from the Pittsburgh area, Imperial, PA. Played at West Allegheny in a fine high school program where he was coached by his dad, Bob. He's a left-hander.
They like lefties here at Pitt, don't they?
Rod Rutherford, his predecessor, was a left-hander, two-time All-Big East quarterback. The handoff goes to Raymond Kirkley, trying to get outside to the left. He got a yard and then was tackled by Justin Perkins. They're looking for big playmakers to emerge. They think outside Greg Lee has the best chance to be a big play wide receiver. Del Sardo, a former walk-on. Rob Petiti, one of the best offensive linemen in the country, a senior from Rumson, New Jersey. In the words of Coach Walt Harris, a dominant player on just about every down. They try the other side with Kirkley again, and he's out near the 28-yard line, brought down by James Hargrave. Connecticut off to an excellent start defensively. They're 10th in the nation in total defense. Tyler King, the best player in the front four, a senior from Massachusetts. The linebackers, the strength of the group with Alfred Fincher, their middle linebacker and team captain. In the secondary, Justin Perkins, their best cover corner, John Fletcher, a very hard-hitting senior safety. 3 wide receivers on 3rd down and 4. Palko gets it off, incomplete. The pass a little bit low at the 34-yard line, intended for Kelvin Chandler. Justin Perkins had the coverage, so 3 and out to open the night for the Pitt Panthers.
And, you know, you talk about being on the road. Obviously, you want to start strong, especially a young football team like Walt Harris has at Pittsburgh. They feel like that now that they have a few games under their belt, that there are fewer excuses compared to what they've had in the previous game. So a slow start tonight was not what he was looking for.
Adam Gressel is the punter, averaging just under 40 per punt. They had a problem with a high snap last week against Furman. No problems here, and a booming kick back to the 24. Problems for a moment for Larry Taylor, the freshman, that he held on and lost yardage on the return. Lost about 4 after a 48-yard punt.
One of the things that I was concerned about watching and studying in this game, trying to analyze it, was Connecticut's nerves, trying to figure out how they'd handle the pressure of playing in a game like this. Everything that you've talked about and seen up here has been how big a game this was under the lights. You know, Rensler Field this and Big East that and Pittsburgh. And that's an indication that there are nerves that these players at UConn are going to have to deal with.
Dan Orlovsky stayed in state to help them make the transition to Division 1A, and he's been a big part of their success. 35 career starts, looking deep in a double coverage, and it is almost intercepted. The ball was underthrown, intended for Matt Kataya. Mike Phillips, the freshman, with excellent coverage. The Connecticut offense, Brockington with Sam Dorvald in for Deion Anderson at fullback this week. Great speed outside with Kataya and Henry. And multiple tight ends we'll see tonight. How about this for experience up front? The offensive line with a combined 134 career starts. Krug and Markowski are 4-year starters. Irwin, the center, a 3-year starter, as is Preston, the right tackle. The lone back is Brockington. He's generally running in between the tackles. And he's out to the 24. For a gain of 4, it'll be 3rd down and 6. The Pittsburgh defense, a couple of academic All-Americans at tackles with Prochunas and Stevens. Smith is the rush end. Excellent linebackers, Clint Session between H.B. Blades, the son of Benny, and Malcolm Postel.
And in the secondary, watch Darrelle Revis, a true freshman. He has started every game this season. I think he has the talent to be one of the all-time greats at Pittsburgh. Certainly has not played like a true freshman in their first 3 games. Orlovsky deep again has a man open, and it's dropped off the fingertips of Jason Williams, who had a touchdown if he held it. He beat Mike Phillips in the coverage. The throw just a tad long, but it looked to be catchable. And Randy Edsall, the head coach, over to talk to Jason Williams. You know what he's telling him? What I said a while ago. You got to settle down, finish the play. Obviously, the play is there. A beautiful pass by Orlovsky. And that's the toughest catch to make on a field. Early, big game, you know it's there, and you just alligator arm it just a little bit. Williams can fly 4.3 speed in the 40. But he couldn't catch it. Richardson waits for the punt from another true freshman. Shane Hussar gets a nice bounce. He's going to get more than 10 yards on the roll, all the way down near the 27-yard line. Brandon McLean down to the 50-yard punt. Each team's had the ball once. No score at East Hartford. Randy Edsall is the 46-year-old head coach of the Connecticut Huskies. Former NFL assistant in Jacksonville under Tom Coughlin. Longtime assistant at Syracuse and Georgia Tech. Also at Boston College. He's made the smooth transition from 1AA to 1A. Walt Harris in his 8th season at Pittsburgh. 4 straight bowl games. He's had them in the postseason in 5 of his first 7 years. Quick pass by Palco, and Joe Del Sardo is collared along the near sideline by Alan Barnes. Out to the 35-yard line goes the play. Good gain on first down. They got 8. It'll be 2nd down and 2. You know, Sean, you talk about Rod Rutherford and his success with Larry Fitzgerald. Sometimes the systems are there. Walt Harris's offenses are just good. Typically, his wide receivers lead the Big East in yards, right? And so you know they know how to get it done. It's just a matter of time before somebody steps up and makes big plays. 2 tight ends into the game for Pittsburgh. And the handoff up the middle. And Kirkley taken down by Tyler King. We mentioned he's the best of that defensive front. He is the son of former New England Patriot linebacker Steve King, who was an excellent player in the 70s and early 80s for the Patriots. Yeah, backside, they just, you know, that's terrible blocking and recognition. Rob Petiti, who's one of the better offensive linemen on Pitt, just set up almost like he was expecting an outside movement and got beat inside. No gain on the last play. 3rd down and 2. Everybody up on the line for UConn. Palco hit as he throws, and it's incomplete. Nearly intercepted by Justin Perkins. Alfred Fincher came on a blitz from his middle linebacker position and put the heat on Palco. You know, some people ask, can Connecticut really step up and play with the big fellas in Division 1A like Pittsburgh? Well, when you see them in there doing that in the pits, when they're really dominating inside, back-to-back plays, that lets you know that physically they're up to the challenge. And that's a problem for Pittsburgh if they don't get that shut off quick. Taylor, who bobbled the last punt from Gressel. Back deep again. This kick not as good. Short and wobbly, but it took a good bounce for the freshman. And Taylor let it roll all the way down to the 15-yard line. So the bounce has been the best friend of these 2 punters so far. That's a 50-yard kick for Adam Gressel. Saturday night, 2 of the 3 remaining undefeated teams in the SEC take the field as number 9 Auburn takes on number 8 Tennessee. College football primetime Saturday on ESPN at 7:45 Eastern. For in-depth college football coverage, check out ESPN.com. Search college football. Good game. Auburn can run the football. Ranked ahead of. I mean, when you talk about rankings and all, last year it was all this Auburn. Now they're playing like a real good ranked football team. Are you picking them to win on the road? I do like them. Yes. 5 wide receivers on first down for Connecticut. The pass underneath to Jason Williams. I really like that call, Craig. Williams just dropped the bomb wide open on the last play from scrimmage, so give him an easy one to get his hands on the ball and build his confidence back up a little bit. Absolutely. And you know what it also does is it tells the defense that Orlovsky's just not trying to throw the bomb every play. We've seen 2 big deep throws. Pitt missed another interception, which was a problem for their defense last week
against Furman. And then throw it underneath. Man, make the defense know you're going to use the field.
4 wide receivers. Brockington lined up to the right of Orlovsky, who goes out of the shotgun on 2nd and 3. Brockington, he's a tough runner, and he's very near first down. Appears to have it across the 25.
Number 33, Cornell Brockington.
Brockington, the cousin of John Brockington, the former Ohio State All-American running back, who went on to have a fine NFL career, mostly with the Green Bay Packers.
Randy Edsall really likes the balance that he has. Last season, the numbers were similar at the end of the year. The way they run and rush. Now, you just don't do that. A lot of coaches say, I want to be balanced. But unless you have effectiveness and efficiency with the running game, you get away from it, right? But with Orlovsky's ability to throw the football, that gives them a chance to run it, and Brockington is good.
2 tight ends into the ball game now. Orlovsky down the seam, and it's underthrown. He had the tight end Dan Murray behind the defender, linebacker Clint Session, but the ball was just a tad short, and Session was able to bat it away from Murray.
You could just see the play develop on the right side. The tight end, here he is. He's going to come this way. He's just going to get behind the linebacker. As soon as he gets beyond linebacker level, Orlovsky tries to put a touch pass in there. It's a difficult throw, but just a little bit more. Get it on out there. Let his tight end take advantage of the 2-yard lead he has on the linebacker.
A lot of different looks offensively for UConn. A lot of different personnel groups. Into the secondary, Brockington across midfield and down at the Pittsburgh 49-yard line. Malcolm Postel made the tackle. That's a 26-yard gain for Cornell Brockington, the sophomore from Burlington, New Jersey.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Watch the linemen. You got 2 different linemen that are pulling, getting outside, and it's a beautiful job. It's kind of like the OT counter, except the play side guard pulls, kicks out, backside tackle comes up in there. And Brockington has power. He's got speed. This is I was as impressed with him last week in the game as I was Orlovsky.
Pittsburgh had a disastrous year defensively last year. Missed tackles a big problem. You saw another on that play from Tez Morris, their starting safety. Pass on target to Karan Henry. Darrell Rivas, the freshman, made the tackle, but it's a gain of 13. This is a defensive unit last year that couldn't tackle anybody. They've been a little bit better this year.
Look at how far off Rivas 25 is, the true freshman. He's talented, yes, but you can't give that much room to a good quarterback-receiver combination. And they're going to put the pressure on him. I'd go after Rivas. I'd find out, okay, can you deal with the pressure of a game under the lights on TV?
Under 9 minutes to go in the first quarter. No score. Connecticut on the move. They had a certain touchdown pass dropped on their first possession. Orlovsky throws it back for Brockington. He's dropped for a loss. Nothing wrong with that tackling for him by H.B. Blades, the son of Benny Blades, the former Miami Hurricane standout who went on to an all-pro career in the NFL with Detroit and Seattle.
We were visiting with Paul Rhodes, defensive coordinator at Pittsburgh. He talked about a little drill he put together about open field tackling. Remember, he said, hey, he just stumbled across something where you get in practice and you get out in the open space, break down a little sooner, not later on there. That was an excellent open field tackle.
This is a Pitt defense that was in the top 12 in the nation the previous 2 seasons in total defense before the disasters of last year. Big reason why they were just 8-5. Despite all that offensive talent. Brockington on what might have been a change play. Orlovsky has a lot of room at the offensive line, a lot of freedom given to him by the coaching staff. Maurice Wilson, the offensive coordinator, calls the plays for Randy Edsall. But Orlovsky, because he's very smart, can change the play, change just about any part of the play if he so desires. Vince Prochunas dropped that one.
You can always change as long as it works.
That's right. That one wasn't all that successful.
It's a big fella. Wears a coaching whistle around his neck.
Chris Bellamy in at running back now. Brockington has gone out. Orlovsky with a lot of time. Zings one, incomplete. Into double coverage. He was looking for Matt Kataya, but it was well defended. Kataya wanted a flag. It was just very good defense by Darrell Rivas and Tez Morris.
You know, some of the funny things, you know, the characters of coaching staffs have to have characters on them. Like, you know, Coach Wilson, the offensive coordinator there up in the booth, he's got a whistle around his neck. Now, why would a coach wear a whistle? You know?
Number 37, Shane Sarr.
Maybe he's using it so he can whistle for food. He's a big guy. Bring me another hot dog.
You should talk the way you go with the feed bag up here in the press room.
And let me tell you, I ate enough hot dogs tonight before this game for you and me.
Punt down on 4th and 10 now. They'll try to pin them in deep. Hussar high and short. And he gets a very nice soft bounce inside the 5 and down at the 3-yard line, maybe even the 2. 34-yard punt, well done by the freshman Hussar.
ESPN2's College Football Primetime, brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge and McDonald's.
Of course, this is a basketball crazy state, but they've come to love college football as well. Just 2 years ago, they sold 4,000 season tickets for football. This year, 28,000 in their new stadium. And they're making plenty of noise with Pittsburgh starting at its own 2-yard line. Raymond Kirkley just trying to get them out from the goal line. Got perhaps a yard. They're playing without Tim Murphy, who's a dual-threaded tailback and fullback. He's a big guy who would likely be in there in this situation, but he's out for the 2nd week in a row with an ankle injury.
Well, they're going to have to get the running game going. There's no question about it. But right now, Pittsburgh's getting beat up front.
2 tight ends in the game. Kirkley the lone back behind Tyler Palko. His pass intercepted. Touchdown, Justin Perkins. His 2nd interception return for a touchdown this season. He had a big return against Duke for a score that got them within 1 point in the 4th quarter. They wound up winning that game on a field goal with under 4 minutes to go. And a bad decision by Palko. Looking for Greg Lee, but Perkins is right there to take it away. The extra point up and good by Matt Newsy. Justin Perkins, the senior from Fort Lauderdale, has Connecticut first on the board tonight. Justin Perkins had 6 interceptions last year. 2 this season, both for touchdowns now. And Connecticut leads by a score of 7-0 with 6:27 left in the 1st quarter.
Pretty good ratio, isn't it?
Keep picking them off and take him to the house.
I can keep up with that. I know that's 1,000%. It's 100%. 2 picks, 2 touchdowns.
And the kickoff by Matt Newsy, the sophomore from Trumbull, Connecticut, down to Marcus Furman, who returned to kickoff 96 for a touchdown against Nebraska. And he's tripped up after a very nice return out to the 38-yard line. Brandon McLean made the tackle for UConn.
Take a look back at the touchdown, with the interception, and your initial thought is Tyler Palko makes a mistake, but it's Greg Lee, the receiver. There he is. Look where he is when he makes his break. He doesn't come back to the football. He has to come back to the ball. And I guarantee you, Tyler Palko went to the sideline and said, hey, look, guy's got to come back. He's got to come back. You know, and if he's not saying that, then he will be saying that when he watches the film.
He was clearly not happy when he was chatting with Coach Walt Harris. Walt probably wasn't all that pleased about the development either. 34-yard kickoff return has Pittsburgh in good field position from the 38. The pitch to Kirkley. He gets a block from Del Sardo, the wide receiver. Lost the football. And a big pile up near midfield, and Pittsburgh got it back. A 14-yard gain. It would have been a couple of more than that, but they lost a couple yards on the fumble.
And right now, Walt Harris's offense is just flat out getting beat up front. And so they have to do some misdirection. They have to do something that's going to take advantage of the over-aggressive Connecticut defense. It's nice running to get to the point. There's a clear fumble. Ball comes out, and a nice job of Stanback being around to jump on it.
Alan Barnes and Justin Perkins knocked the ball out. On 1st and 10, play action pass. Palco under pressure. He can run. He gets away and has a first down and much more. Inside the 25 and down at the 22-yard line. 26-yard run. James Hargrave finally got him down. He chased Tyler Palco for most of that run.
Dang right he can run. I'm telling you, he came out of that secondary. What a nice job in the presence in the pocket of being able to step up. He felt the pressure coming from both sides, left and right. He gets up in it, and he's gone. Uses a little stiff arm to get up the field. And right now, misdirections, something working for them. They've got to do things to make plays other than the running game traditional.
Looked like Hargrave got away with a face mask on the end of that play. Marcus Furman, the lone running back. Extra tight ends on the field for Pittsburgh. 1st and 10. Play action pass, and a man open, caught for a first down. Joe Del Sardo, the former walk-on, was put on scholarship just before the season with a 16-yard gain. First ever meeting between Pittsburgh and Connecticut. Big East Conference action on ESPN2. Sold out Rentschler Field just outside downtown Hartford, Connecticut. Sean McDonough with Craig James and Heather Cox. And perhaps the beginning of a rivalry. Connecticut figured that it would have Boston College as its rival, less than 100 miles apart here in New England. The only 2 Division I-A schools in New England, but of course BC is leaving for the ACC next year. So they're looking for a rival. Perhaps it'll be Pittsburgh. Furman can't get outside. Great play by Alfred Fincher, the senior from Norwood, Massachusetts.
That's called filling the lane there. Fincher used his speed. He was like a ball carrier on defense, went to where the hole was going to be. Talking about explosive. I mean, there he is in the middle of the field, middle linebacker, number 9. See, he gets above and in front of the block. He gets right to the lane.
He's on the Butkus Award watch list for the best linebacker in the country. He's their team leading tackler this season and really the field general on that defense. Loss of 6, 2nd and goal. Looked like they were trying to set up a screen, and Palco wisely throws it away. Connecticut had that screen snuffed out, and Palco wisely got rid of the ball. But perhaps not wisely in his discarding of it, because it's an intentional grounding call. The officials are conferring about this now. Tom Tomczyk, the referee, threw the flag.
On the offense, lost it down at the spot of the foul. 3rd down.
And I'm not sure that Tomczyk really knew what to call on that when he conferred with the side linesman, and the linesman came over and told him that there wasn't a back in the area. But I think Palco, what he's saying is, look, my guy was over there, and I'm trying to throw it out here to Furman. 2's there, he just didn't turn it around. Maybe he said he threw it too wide.
I think that's kind of a shaky call.
I agree.
They're back at the 25-yard line. They were at the 7 with 1st and goal. Now 3rd and goal from the 25. Under duress. Palco throws on the run and throws it away. Well, what a disaster for Pittsburgh after they got to the 7-yard line. And this will set up a long field goal try by their new kicker, Josh Cummings, junior college transfer from California. He's been perfect as a Panther so far. 4 for 4 in field goals, 10 for 10 in extra points. He had the game-winning 37-yard field goal in overtime to beat Furman Saturday at Heinz Field. This would be the longest of his collegiate career, a 42-yarder. Gressel, the punter, is the holder. Steve Buckus, who injured his hand earlier in this game, is the snapper. Actually, Mike McGlynn snapped that one. The kick is long enough, and it is No good. First miss of his career for Cummings. And Pittsburgh got down to the 7-yard line and comes away empty.
Well, from above, what does it look like from our blimp who's on hand?
Yes, it looks wide.
Yeah, he missed it from there too, didn't he?
That's the best view of today's exciting football action. The Hood Carb Countdown Blimp. You were obviously not counting carbs in the pregame spread.
You know what was funny? A guy sees me go through the second go-through of the buffet line out there. I'd already had a bunch of hot dogs with buns, and the next round I went just dog. He goes, "Oh, Atkins guy, huh?" And I said, "Nah, it's just my second time through."
Here's the view again from the Hood Carb Countdown Blimp. Sure, we'd have pretty shots from the blimp tonight. It was supposed to be a beautiful night. There was a surprise little rain shower that moved through for a couple of hours. Right in time to ruin the tailgate.
They showed up, though.
They sure did. They're here. 5 carries for 36 yards now for Brockington. He got 2 on first down. 3 wide receivers into the game. Dan Orlovsky wants to pass. Throws a bullet right down the hash marks. Deflected. And is it intercepted? No, it hit the ground, say the officials. Tyrone Gilliard thought he had it. Boy, Connecticut has been so close to several long gainers, and that one was just a bit too far out in front of Ron Henry.
And you know what? At the middle of the field is open right now. Now Orlovsky has to find the touch to find his receiver. And of course, if you're the receivers coach, you tell that guy he's got to make an adjustment just to the inside a little bit. Man, that ball.
No, it hit the ground right there.
Just a little bit.
Yep.
It only takes a little leather, right?
That's all it takes.
Just a little of that cow to hit the ground, and it's over.
3rd down and 8. Connecticut leads 7-0. And a 7-yard interception return for a touchdown by Justin Perkins. Here comes a blitz. The pass deflected. Still caught by Kataya. And he held on with Mike Phillips on his back. A first down and a completion to Kataya, the senior from Webster, New York. A 14-yard gain.
And again, this play is really developed because the quarterback, Orlovsky, has the guts to stand in there. He's going to take a pretty good shot. Kataya comes over. They've twice now that they've had single coverage on the right side with number 17. Now, I'd tell my guys, hey, it's going to be hard for you, but if you've got singled up over there and nobody in the middle to help you, be ready for the ball to come to number 17.
2 tight ends in the game now. Orlovsky is 4 out of 9 passing. Brockington dropped for a loss. Excellent penetration by H.B. Blades. And a loss on the play back near the 37-yard line. Blades, a first-year starter. He's a sophomore from Plantation, Florida.
And he's a smart sophomore. Watch out when they start pulling over here. Now, that worked earlier for Connecticut. But now, once the tackle and the guards are pulling, the defense at Pittsburgh has recognized it. The last 2 or 3 counters that they tried to run with a pulling guard and tackle, it has not worked.
Ryan Krug is limping off. He's their best offensive lineman, 4-year starter. At a left tackle. 5th-year senior making his 37th career start tonight. Mike Kodish, who started last week. Number 74 has come in to take his place. 4 wideouts now. On 2nd down and 14. Under 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. Orlovsky, the quick swing pass after the fake. It's the freshman Brandon McClain from New Haven, Connecticut. Out to the 43-yard line. They'll still need 8 for a first down. Mike Phillips made the tackle on McClain.
A couple of early observations from Sean. Pittsburgh's playing with more passion than they did last week against Furman. Immediately noticed that. More people getting to the football. There's a purpose. And Connecticut is a little bit better than I thought they'd be. You know, it's one thing seeing them in person versus the film.
Well, their wins are against Murray State, Duke, and Army, so this would be the first real quality win. Best team they played, Boston College. They lost to the Eagles by 20 up at Chestnut Hill. Orlovsky's pass a little bit off target again, looking for McClain, who is well short of the first down marker. It has to be frustrating for Orlovsky, as we said, Craig. They've been so close to hitting several big plays. Balls just a little bit off or dropped. A couple of inches here or there would make a huge difference for this Connecticut offense.
You almost felt like their offense had Pitt's defense on the ropes a little bit, right? And they didn't take advantage of that opportunity while they were on the ropes.
Shane Hussar to punt. He's a true freshman. Nice punt. Drives Richardson back to the 12-yard line. Alan Richardson trying to get outside. Turns the corner and goes out to the 22. A 10-yard return. He was tripped up after a 45-yard punt. Alfred Fincher made the tackle on special teams. 47 seconds left in the quarter.
Last series, Pittsburgh's offense, they tried to go a little bit of an unbalanced look, but really strength to one side with a single receiver opposite, and they tried to get the same look Connecticut's had where they can get one-on-one, big open field.
Raymond Kirkley, powerful run. He and Brockington of Connecticut have similar running styles. Gain out to the 28-yard line. Kirkley's had an interesting career. He redshirted last year. Brandon Myrie established himself as the lead tailback. Back in 2001 as a true freshman, Kirkley was the starting tailback and their leading rusher. He backed up Myrie in 02 and then redshirted last year. Now with Myrie gone, it's back in the hands of Kirkley to be the primary ball carrier. He's out for the moment. Marcus Furman in a tailback. And a flag and whistles before the quarter ended. 4 seconds left in the period. Looks like Greg Lee might have moved early.
Prior to the snap, false start, 78 offense, 5-yard penalty, second down.
Rob Petiti, the left tackle, called for a false start.
Rough game, rough start for the big fella on the left side. You know, here's Pittsburgh again. They have a nice positive play on first down, and like they had with the intentional grounding down that really handcuffed them on the last drive, took them out of field goal range, or made it a longer one. Penalties again hurting Pittsburgh.
Total yardage was just about even. UConn 71, Pittsburgh 68. But it certainly seemed that Connecticut controlled the play in the first quarter. They lead 7-0 after 15 minutes on a touchdown by Perkins. We're back in East Hartford. The officials put 4 seconds back on the clock. Time for a big play to Greg Lee. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. 77 yards. The clock had expired. The two teams went to their respective sidelines, and the official said, no, we're putting the 4 seconds back on the clock after the penalty. And what an ending to the first quarter. Palko to Greg Lee, who's emerging as that big play receiver, trying to fill the shoes of Larry Fitzgerald. That's an impossible task, but this is a good way to try to do it anyway.
It's almost like Connecticut thought that they went to break and they were wondering what was going on out there.
And Josh Cummings adds the extra point to tie it up. Now it's the end of the quarter. Randy Edsall wondering what happened. On the last play of the first quarter, Greg Lee catches a long bomb from Tyler Palko, and Pittsburgh is even at 7-7. Where Palko is 6th touchdown pass of the season. And for Lee, his 3rd touchdown reception. Here's the punter, Adam Gressel, to kick off. Sophomore from Dublin, Ohio, will kick it away to Larry Taylor, the freshman, with excellent speed. Good kick. Tymon Branch, also a speedster. out of upstate New York. He's from Cicero, New York, near Syracuse. The 100-meter champion in high school in New York State, but no chance to run that one back. Well, an interesting little turn of events here, Craig.
You know, Greg Lee, we saw when Perkins at Connecticut, he comes up and earlier has the interception that he takes back for a touchdown. All right, now they've set them up for this play. Here you are down here. He's going to come with just a little give and go with his footwork that gives him the advantage, and watch the Connecticut defensive back come back up again. Just the stutter that he did made him get out of position a little bit. He wasn't in rhythm with Lee. The result's a touchdown.
Longest pass play of the season for Pittsburgh. Cornell Brockington alone back on 1st and 10 from the 20. He gets a yard.
You know, that end of that first quarter was just weird. And it seemed like it took everybody out of sync, especially the Connecticut defense.
It was almost like they thought, well, 4 seconds left, they're going to take a knee, even though it was the end of the first quarter. They won't try to hit us with the big one on the last play, but they did. Randy Edsall, longtime defensive backs coach, certainly did not appreciate that defensive back play. 2 wide receivers to the right. Orlovsky has another man open. It's Kataya. Across midfield and down to the Pittsburgh 47-yard line. Tez Morris made the tackle. There's another receiver running open deep down the field. A 32-yard gain for Kataya.
And then where was he? Running down the middle of the field. Okay, he's missed on several of those passes. Even this wasn't a great pass to Kataya. If he leads him more to the left and the outside, Kataya continues to run. It's just almost like he has too much arc on the ball over the middle, doesn't it? Here we are up here acting like, you know, a couple of guys, a couple of Brett Favre's in the, in the booth.
One of the things Paul Rhodes, the defensive coordinator, said about Orlovsky, he said he might be as good as any quarterback in the country. He does throw a very catchable ball. He handed the ball off that time to Brockington, who got nothing. In fact, lost a yard. Back to the 48. Let's check in with Heather.
Sean, a couple of injury reports for you on the UConn Huskies. Left tackle Ryan Krug has gone into the locker room with a right ankle injury. They do expect him to return. I've been told he's getting x-rays as we speak. Now, free safety on the other side of the ball. Jahi Smith is sitting on the medical tent. Pads are off. Ice on that right shoulder. We will reevaluate at the half. A third note for you, quarterback Dan Orlovsky bit his tongue. Other than splitting blood, not much of a problem, but certainly in a little bit of pain out there, guys.
That hurts. Here's Brockington trying to find the hole on the left, and nothing doing. Thomas Smith made the play from his defensive end position. Second-year starter at rush end, making his 17th straight start for the Panthers tonight, and giving the official his hat back after taking the tackle on the hat as well.
You get the feeling that Pitt's defense is starting to see the game better. Their front 7, front 8 are just they're recognizing what the linemen are doing right now.
3rd down and 10. 3 wide receivers, the shotgun for Orlovsky as they operate from near midfield. Orlovsky almost intercepted. Looking for Kataya, but Bernard Lay stepped in front of it. Better known as Josh Lay. That's a nickname. He's a junior from Aliquippa, Pennsylvania, and he almost had a touchdown because there wasn't anybody who was going to tackle him heading the other way.
And you know what? Again, receivers continuing to not come back to the ball is a death knell to a quarterback's ball in the air, especially as long as that ball had to travel in the air. Now, Pittsburgh's defense, I said it last week against Furman, they dropped several interceptions. That hurt them, and it's hurt them now twice tonight. They have not taken the interceptions.
4th punt of the half. Shane Hussar. He was a punter in Florida in high school, but was also a running back and a linebacker, and he wants to be on the scout team. Coach Archer said he likes the contact. He doesn't want to punt in practice. He wants to be involved in some contact as well. That was an excellent punt down to the 6-yard line. 42 yards and no return. We're tied at 7 in the second quarter. Tied at 7 early in the second quarter. Let's take a look at our KFC game track. First night game ever here at Rentschler Field. This is year 2 for this beautiful $91 million stadium. The home folks like the way the game started. Justin Perkins returned an interception, 7 yards for a touchdown, but then he got burned on a wild play at the end of the quarter. It looked like the quarter had ended. The two teams went to their sideline for the officials with 4 seconds back on the clock. Greg Lee caught a 77-yard touchdown pass from Tyler Palko. So we're tied at 7, and the Panthers have the ball again in poor field position, starting at their own 6-yard line. Game track brought to you by KFC. And flags, a couple of them before the snap of the football. Might have been some movement along that offensive line.
Prior to the snap, ball start, 62 offense, half the distance to the goal, still first down.
Randy Edsall and the Connecticut football team has really asked their fans to get after it at the games. Bang and beat and make noise. And in this end zone right here, behind them, I mean, they're beating the wall. I mean, and that caused the false start. It works for their team.
Now, the students at that end, this is not an on-campus facility. It's about 20 minutes from their campus and stores. Between the campus in downtown Hartford, with plenty of students here tonight. Furman was tackled by Tyler King. This is very much a pro atmosphere, if you will. Connecticut, a well-populated state. We're just outside downtown Hartford. Really, there are no pro teams here. There's minor league sports, but Connecticut is it in this state, and they have really taken to the football program as they have the men's and women's basketball that have won national championships in recent years.
Connecticut is it in this state. You got that right.
Yeah, Connecticut, University of Connecticut. And moved it again. They used to have the Hartford Whalers. A lot of us missed the Whale. Moved on to Carolina.
Prior to the snap,
Well, those fans are having an effect.
offense, half the distance to the goal, still second down.
In fact, when Connecticut beat Duke here a few weeks ago, Duke missed a last-second field goal they would have won it, and Randy Edsall credited the crowd in part for the missed field goals. And the deafening noise certainly seemed to have an effect. The Connecticut players appreciate the help. They get it off. Palko in trouble in the end zone. Throws it away. And if that's grounding in the end zone and they're looking at each other are the officials. And no flags. Sean Maine was putting the heat on. That could have been called a safety.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, that one there, he went right to the linesman to find out. What'd you think? Was it in the area there, receiver? The ball was just real high.
Third down and 14. And Coach Harris is looking for a play from his inexperienced offense in their first road game, by far the toughest environment they've faced so far tonight. Palko goes out of the gun. They have quick kicked a couple of times this year. And again, problems with the snap, and this time a delay of game penalty.
Delay game. Number 3 offense. 5-yard penalty. Half the distance to the goal.
And that's not a very big distance at this juncture as they keep backing up closer and closer to the goal line.
You know, I took my headset off in the midst of that series right there of things, and you can tell that Palko's asking for the ball. And most teams now, from this point forward, who studied the Connecticut team will know they've got to go silent snap when they come here.
Marcus Furman managed to get out of the end zone, and he gets shoved ahead to the 4-yard line. Marcus Lloyd made the tackle. Credit those fans in that end zone. So loud that the center Bolarski could not hear Palko when he was calling for the ball out of the shotgun, and Walt Harris is chatting with the senior center Justin Bolarski about just that.
If they can survive this end of the field until halftime, they'll have to make an adjustment at halftime with their offensive unit on a silent count and change up. Shotgun will not be an option for them down there.
Gressel punts out of the end zone and booms one. Boy, did they need that. What a punt. It lands at the 31-yard line. Larry Taylor had to run all the way back inside the 20. And he is finally down across the 35-yard line. At the 38, he took a pretty good hit from Brian Bennett and still stumbled forward for a couple more yards. 73-yard punt. Woo. Longest of his career for Gressel. Give Taylor credit to bounce off that hit for another yard or two.
ESPN2's College Football Primetime. Brought to you by the completely reinvented vehicles from the new Subaru. Driven by what's inside. And Wendy's Classic Hamburgers. It's better here.
Officially a 74-yard punt by Adam Gressel, longest of his brief career. He's taken over as the punter for two-time Big East Special Teams Player of the Year Andy Lee, and doing a very nice job. 3 punts tonight for an average of nearly 58 yards. For Connecticut, from the 38-yard line, Orlovsky throws short, and it's dropped by Sam Dorval, the fullback. Here's Heather.
Here, the Huskies don't mind making the 20-minute drive from Stores to downtown Hartford, and I would agree they need to go to the silent count because there's no way that Tyler Palko is hearing anything down here, because I certainly can't hear myself. The student Huskies love this new stadium, guys.
You know, they were using the PA system and had music going loud too to go along with the fans.
Which you're not supposed to be able to do. 4 wide receivers. And Orlovsky throws a quick strike and another drop. By our count, that's 4 drops. Karan Henry dropped that one. He's a former quarterback. He was the starter back in 2001. Suffered a hip pointer. Orlovsky took over at midseason and never gave the job back. And Henry said, I understand. He's a better quarterback than I am. Henry's become a very good receiver, but not on that play.
You know what? Ball coming that hard and you're coming back to the inside. I always tell my kids, don't be afraid to use your body to catch the football. Your hands may not be strong enough to handle that pass.
Curious, the longest punt in Pittsburgh history is 80 yards by Nate Cochran back in 1996. So Gressel missed that by only 6 yards. Here comes a blitz. And a man wide open, but the ball was badly overthrown and Phillips intercepted. Jason Williams was the receiver, but he had stopped. Orlovsky apparently thought he was going to keep going. And Phillips had the easy pick, his second interception of the season. The other one was last week against Furman in the end zone when Furman was driving to take a 3-touchdown lead. That was really a momentum turner in the second half.
Jason Williams drives to the inside on the post. The ball's thrown to the outside. Really, it's almost like just a Hail Mary. Now, this is the first one that he has not gotten away with it. There should be 3 interceptions on Orlovsky's number right now.
Team has turned it over once by an interception. Raymond Kirkley, the lone back, and again movement before the snap. Pittsburgh's already been penalized 5 times. Connecticut has not committed a penalty.
Out of the snap. False start. 60 offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Last week, Sean, against Furman, Pittsburgh had a ton of penalties, and it's driving week. Last week, 9 penalties, 85 yards, and they just, being a young team, they can't overcome it.
It's unusual. They were the least penalized team in the conference last year. They're still second in the Big East for fewest penalty yards this year behind Temple, even with that bad day last week. Palko throwing one-on-one coverage, and it is incomplete. Intended for Greg Lee. Justin Perkins had the coverage. And Hank Hughes, the defensive coordinator for Connecticut, said he will have Perkins on Lee all night long. He's their best cover corner. They think Lee is their best receiver for Pittsburgh.
And therefore, he's going to be compared to Fitzgerald throughout this season. Last year, Larry Fitzgerald, #1, goes up and makes that catch more than likely. You know, those balls where they're up there and it's him in a one-on-one with a corner, he's going to make that play. And Lee might eventually get to that point.
He had a big game against Nebraska in their only loss. He had 6 catches for 98 yards. Palko scrambling. And he's out to the 21. Got the penalty yardage back, +1. Alfred Fincher made the tackle. Friday night, the 14th ranked Utah Utes take on New Mexico. Utah looks to remain undefeated and on course for potential berth in the BCS National Championship race. That might be getting a little bit ahead of the game at this juncture, but perhaps it's not too early to start thinking about that. College football Friday on ESPN2.
They better be worried about New Mexico's running attack and the thumping they took in that ground game last year.
Third down and long. They need the 30-yard line. Palco is going to try to run for it, and he won't make it. Fincher ran him down from behind. James Hargrave also there, but it was Fincher who made the primary play, and the Panthers will punt again.
If you have any question or not whether number 9 Fincher can play, 6'1", 240, don't worry about it. The guy can play. He can run. He looks like one of those Miami Hurricanes linebackers. It's not a huge guy, but can run.
Larry Taylor back for the punt from Gressel. They bombed a 74-yarder last time. Really no wind in the stadium tonight. It's not a factor in either direction. This one's pretty good too, and Taylor slips. Fielded it on a hop. They got banged down at the 33-yard line. Walloped by Kennard Cox. 51-yard punt and a 6-yard return. Well, plenty to cheer about in Connecticut these days. The reigning national champions in men's and women's basketball. And now a 1A football program on the rise. Just 2 years ago, they played in Memorial Stadium on the campus, a 16,000-seat stadium. Really looks like a glorified high school field. Now beautiful new Rentschler Field. Orlovsky throws incomplete. He's now 6 for 17. That pass way over the head of Dan Murray. And they're starting to build, Craig, the rest of the facilities. In this day and age in Division 1A football, not only do you need the stadium, but you need the football building where you have the offices and the weight room and the training area and the academic studies area. And they're building a couple of beautiful new facilities on their campus that'll be ready in 2006.
Like you say, this is the school in the state of Connecticut, you know, and there are lots of folks around here who will drive that 30-45 mile range to support the school.
3 wide receivers. Cornell Brockington is the lone back. And he gets the handoff right through the middle and close to a first down. Clint Session tripped him up. Looks like from where they're going to spot it, he has the first down at the 43-yard line. It is 1st and 10 for UConn with under 8 to go in the half.
Yeah, here we go. Let's see how the big fellows do up front. And, you know, Brockington's got to get going. I mean, they just caved down the line, and it's, you know, we haven't seen that from Brockington now in a while.
He's been part of the competition, be the featured back. Matt Lawrence, a sophomore. Chris Bellamy, a 5th-year senior. Also involved in that competition every week at practice. Whoever fares better is the featured back in that week's ball game. Lately, it's been Brockington in practice and in the games doing very well. Orlovsky's pass incomplete. Looking for Karan Henry. Clint Session batted it down.
You know, last week, Sean, Furman struck the big play against Pitt's defense. They had a 70-something touchdown, a couple over 40-yard touchdown passes. Their goal was to not give up the big touchdown pass. And it seems like now that Orlovsky's, you know, not seeing the game as well. He's forcing some throws. He's definitely out of rhythm.
He's missed on his last 6 passes. Play clock down to 1. And the handoff to Brockington outside with room. Across the 50 and out of bounds with another first down at the Pittsburgh 43-yard line. Mike Phillips, the tackler, a 13-yard gain and a first down for the Huskies.
And Pittsburgh's got the right defense on here. I mean, it's just that the angle that the corner and the safety takes from the outside is wrong. Look at 31. Gilliard comes too wide. I know he's got to force things back inside, but there has to be a cohesion there. The linebacker has to scrape off and fill that gap, and he can't give him such a big hole.
Orlovsky throws. Nice catch. And a run after the catch. Good effort by Karan Henry. He's had a couple of drops. Darrell Revis finally got him on the ground or out of bounds. An 11-yard gain on the completion to the fifth-year senior Henry.
6'2", 217. That's a big fella. That's why he delivered the blow. And it sounded like, I'm not sure, it sounded like that he checked to that, the 90 protection, gave him a maximum, little quick out throw, try to get a little confidence and rhythm back with the quarterback.
Orlovsky really, like a lot of quarterbacks, a film study animal. He and his roommate Fincher both spend a lot of extra hours in their offices, which are still in trailers on the UConn campus as they build a new facility. Matter of fact, it's a short week, Craig, for both teams. Both played Saturday at home. Orlovsky told us when we chatted with him yesterday that after their win here Saturday against Army, he and about 20 of his teammates went right back to the campus and went right to the football trailers and started watching film to get ready for this game. No post-game celebration. Right back to work to get ready for Pitt.
The want-to's definitely there, and they've got a lot of talent, a lot of kids out of the state of Florida who can run on this team.
Second down and 9, and the pass is caught for a first down down to the 10-yard line. It's Karan Henry again, a gain of 21, and a first down at the 10. Connecticut looking to take the lead in a 7-7 game.
You know, there are a couple of different options, but the number one issue here is the time he has to throw the ball. Look right here, underneath coming and another level coming. There's two different levels that he has an option to throw to. Linebacker 51 drops low and covers up the 6-yard in. And Orlovsky, with plenty of time, goes down the field, and maybe Karan Henry's the guy that steps it up and gets him his confidence going again.
Those 3 catches were 45 yards out of the shotgun with 5 receivers, and that ball almost intercepted by Darrell Revis, and that would have been a touchdown the other way. Boy, we've seen a lot of that. We've already had 1 interception for a touchdown for Connecticut and a couple of near misses. Matt Kataya was the intended receiver.
Randy Etzel's like, whew, no, again, there's another receiver sitting out there. We got to come back to the ball.
Let's not throw that pass out there again for a while.
Now I know why they like that number 25.
Nifty drive. They're down at the Pittsburgh 10. Rockington running hard near the 7-yard line, a gain of 3. I believe it is a goal-to-go situation here. We don't see any marker near the goal line that would give them the opportunity for another first down. Orlovsky's from Shelton, Connecticut, just outside Bridgeport. Highly recruited, Connecticut High School State Player of the Year as a senior. Had the chance to go to Purdue or Michigan State, University of Virginia, among others, but chose to be the guy, really, that highly touted recruit, the first to go to the in-state university as they make the move up to Division 1A, hoping others would follow. They have. To the end zone, too high. Looking for Dan Murray. But how many players have they had open tonight where the ball has been just a little bit off with the throw, or the receiver has just dropped the ball?
Absolutely. And, you know, the middle of the field has really been a weakness on Pitt's defense. And fortunately for them, Orlovsky's not quite had it down. Right side of the screen over here is your tight end. Works right to the middle. You know, as a defense, if there's nobody in the middle there, you can't let your guy get there. I mean, Orlovsky's got to hit that.
The field goal situation is shaky at best. Matt Newsy's had a tough go of it. This is a 25-yard attempt from a tough angle, just inside the right hash mark. And he's right down the middle that time. So Connecticut reclaims the lead with 5 minutes to go in the first half. It's 10-7. Connecticut Huskies with a 3-point lead. 5:02 to go till halftime here in East Hartford, Connecticut. Rentschler Field, built on what was once an airstrip for Pratt Whitney, company headquartered in this area. Field named, this used to be Rentschler Field. That was the name of the airport. Name of the gentleman who was in charge of Pratt Whitney, and they've kept the name.
I learned every time I walk up in a booth with you, I'm learning something.
Just happy to educate the masses. Furman with some running room and another nice kickoff return. Marcus Furman brought it out across the 40, a 36-yard run back. Brandon McLean with yet another tackle on special teams, and another near miss here for UConn.
You know, I kind of watch the footwork of the quarterback. See how he doesn't finish the throw? He feels like the pressure's coming at him. And little things like that, if he finishes it to the guy, attack his target, throw the ball to the target, feet just not quite with the throw right there, and that's the difference between a touchdown and the ball being 6-8 inches out of reach.
Mason in for the first time as the running back, 3 wide receivers. Palco might be changing the play. It was just 3 for 10 passing, but one of them was the long touchdown pass. And Mason with his first carry of the night. Out to the 41-yard line, tackled by Maurice Lloyd. And not pretty for either quarterback. Each has thrown an interception. Palco's was run back in for the only Connecticut touchdown.
And neither one of these quarterbacks now have a running game that they can necessarily hang their hat on. Brockington's had some success with Connecticut, but Pitt has not had a ground game.
Connecticut, like a lot of teams around college football now, will play a lot of 8 men in the box defense, trying to stuff the run. Mason again. Fincher another tackle. The Hood Carb Countdown light ship is flying overhead with its eye in the sky camera to bring you these beautiful pictures of Rentschler Field. What a good name for the Carb Countdown. It's the light ship.
Sounds like maybe the motto of a fraternity house, Carb Countdown.
0 for 6 on 3rd down to the Panthers. This is a 3rd down and 5. 3 wide receivers. Palco will throw. He escapes. He is running for a first down across midfield and out at the 49 of Connecticut. Boy, he's a good athlete. He was a very highly recruited player out of high school. A lot of recruiting services said he was another Dan Marino, perhaps coming to Pitt. That's perhaps a bit of a stretch.
Thought he might have been the guy before, and this little injury, and then Rutherford comes in, never left the job again. And now you see what he can do with his legs. They do have a ground game, but it's really his legs.
He was a USA Today High School All-American, the Pennsylvania State Player of the Year. He's rushed 4 times for 42 yards now. Kirkley back in as the running back. Palco wants to throw another deep ball, and it's too far. He was looking for Darrell Strong, a freshman from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We check in with Reese Davis.
All right, Sean, coming up on the Olive Garden halftime report, Mark May will join me. We'll check in on Navy and Air Force, that game going on over on ESPN. Tell you about the new quarterback situation in Florida State, how long that might last, and might this be when a BCS buster Utah gets busted?
I'll let you know at halftime whether Florida State's better off with Chris Rix at quarterback or without Chris Rix at quarterback.
All of that coming up in just a few minutes as soon as you guys wrap up the first half, Sean.
All right, Reese, we'll look forward to that. 2nd down and 10. Palco dumps it off short for Kirkley with some running room. And he's down to the 31-yard line. MJ Estep took him down with help from Maurice Lloyd. 17-yard gain. Palco seems to be getting more comfortable as the half progresses.
Mark May kind of looked lost on that set without Trev Alberts, didn't he? He and Reese, they're going to have plenty of room. It just looks like they're lost.
Where was Trev tonight? Is he joining the debate?
You know what?
Third party
I actually heard that his mother was ill, and he went to help out with her. So we hope that
best to Trev and his family.
Right.
Under 3 minutes to go in the half. 2 tight ends. Kirkley the lone back. Palco another short drop. The pump fake. The throw into double coverage, and it's incomplete. Intended for Greg Lee again. Perkins was right there with him with safety help from John Fletcher.
Now, Greg Lee and Perkins, number 2, are playing a little cat and mouse game. Each one has a big play. Here we go again with the inside, and Perkins didn't take it that time, did he?
I think he has learned his lesson.
My guess is Connecticut's a pretty smart institution, and you don't get here unless you've got some intelligence.
Well, that's what Randy Edsel said. He wants to recruit players who want to get a degree, take advantage of an excellent public school education, who have superior work ethic and great character. He said if you don't fit the bill in those 3 areas, you're not coming to Connecticut. I don't care how good a player you are. Berkeley tried to turn the corner. You think about Randy Edsel, Craig, 46 years old, first head coaching job in his 6th season. But the coaches that he's been around, Dick McPherson, when he started at Syracuse, he said, I learned so much about dealing with people, handling a team, the media, the alumni, the administration. Tom Coughlin, great organizer, disciplinarian, offensive strategist. George O'Leary at Georgia Tech, great defensive strategist, great sense of humor. He has studied under some great coaches, and he's learned his lessons very well. From the 32. 3rd down and long, and the pass is caught for a first down. Eric Gill, the tight end, coming off a big performance last week against Furman when he caught 5 balls. Their tight ends caught 8 passes against the Paladins. Gill hauls in this one for 22 and a first down.
You're right, Sean. Last week, the tight ends combined together to lead this team. And when you talk about the tight ends, how he works his way across the field. Now, look at the touch. The flank that he throws on this ball just over the hands of the linebacker. Now, that's a beautiful chunk right there.
Pittsburgh with a chance to take the lead for the first time tonight. They trailed 7-0, tied it at 7, now down 10-7. Another pump fake, and the pass too high. Looking for Del Sardo, who's not a big target at 5'8", but he's one of those guys who catches everything he can get a hand on. Formerly a walk-on. They put him on scholarship just before the start of the season. We read a report in the Pittsburgh paper that he went to Coach Harris in the spring and said, hey, I'd really like a scholarship. He was told no. He said, I'd like to be allowed to leave. He said, well, let's think about that for a little while. Maybe we can work toward a scholarship. And he got the scholarship in the fall. A handoff into the middle to Kirkley, and not much there. Dion McPhee, who hails from the Bahamas, stuffed that play. He spent 2 years playing high school football in Jacksonville at the Bowl School. Wound up going to the Bowl School through a contact with a family friend. Had never played football until those 2 years of high school ball. Grew up as a track athlete, a swimmer in the Bahamas, and playing with a lot of distractions, Craig. His native Bahamas hit by Hurricane Jeanne. He hasn't talked to his family since. His mom and 3 siblings are there. No phones, no electricity. He has reason to believe they're all right from an uncle, but they're not 100% sure.
Wish him the best, too.
You certainly do. Timeout called by Pittsburgh.
Ladies and gentlemen, tickets are still available.
Big play coming. The 11th play of the drive when we come back. Under a minute to go in the first half. Tightly played throughout. A big play upcoming here for Pittsburgh. They're looking at 3rd down from the 12-yard line. 3rd down and goal for Palco against Randy Edsel's defense.
This stadium has the best rock and roll sound system in America.
It's brand new.
And they got the Aussies singing tonight.
Wow. How about that play? 3rd down, you don't even take a shot at the end zone. You just run it in the middle to set up a better field goal angle.
That's interesting.
I can't believe that, Craig.
Boy, figure that.
I mean, you're on the 12-yard line. Is it that much of an advantage to move a few yards to the right that you do that at the expense of maybe taking a shot at scoring a touchdown?
I don't agree. I don't understand that. I mean, that's a great. You'd have to ask Walt Harris what he was thinking there.
Yeah, I think that's a question for Heather Cox here when we go to the half, and we will chat with Walt Harris on his way off. And that's something maybe you see at the end of a game when you need to tie it to force overtime. They have a very good field goal kicker. I'm not sure. He just had his first miss all year a moment ago. I'm not sure he really needs that much help on the angle. Wow. Saturday night, 2 of the 3 remaining undefeated teams in the SEC take the field when Auburn travels to Knoxville to take on the Volunteers of Tennessee. College football primetime Saturday at 7:45 Eastern on ESPN. For in-depth college football coverage, check out ESPN.com. Search college football.
Interesting in that ball game, you would think that Auburn with Cadillac Williams and Ronnie Brown had the better rushing attack, when in fact Tennessee leads the conference in rushing. They're like 260-some yards a game. Auburn gets 240-ish. So you've got Tennessee running the football, protecting those freshman quarterbacks.
You think that's just a coach who doesn't yet have enough confidence in an inexperienced quarterback and inexperienced offense around him?
And he's protecting them. You know what? He's going to run the ball until somebody stops him, and then Eric Ainge and Brent Schaefer are out there that they'll throw the ball when they have to.
Well, you better make the field goal or it even looks that much worse. Josh Cummings had his first miss of the season earlier. This is a much shorter try from 30 yards right in the middle. And it is good. Now we're tied at 10 with 19 seconds to go in the half.
Field goal is good by Cummings. Score is tied. Connecticut 10, Pittsburgh 10.
You know, I just don't understand what his strategy was and thinking behind that, because they had the hard bite post corner that he overthrew the receiver. Take a shot in there.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of, he was just afraid of a mistake by an inexperienced offense.
On the road, want to make sure you get points.
But boy, I don't think that sends a great message to your team. I mean, all you have to do is tell the quarterback, if there's, unless the guy's wide open, throw it away, and then we'll kick the field goal, but at least take a shot.
And Palco really hasn't shown the tendency in this game to make a lot of dumb decisions.
No, I mean, he's the son of a coach, pretty heady guy. He's certainly gotten a lot better as the season's gone along. Pittsburgh excellent on the road, and we talk about Connecticut winning 16 of their last 20. The Panthers are 25-10 over their last 35 games. That's their best stretch in 20 years. You have to go back to the great days of Dan Marino in the early 80s to find a 35-game stretch where they've had a better winning percentage than that 25-10. 8-5 last year, lost in the bowl game to Virginia. You talk about programs on the rise. What a remarkable job Al Groh and his coaching staff.
They just lose an All-American candidate on defense, Chris Canning, for the season. That's a big blow to Virginia. Otherwise, I think there's no reason to believe they couldn't and shouldn't be the favorite in that conference right now, the way they're playing.
Tyvon Branch, he can fly. We mentioned the New York State champion in the 100 and 200 meters and the national high school champion out of Cicero, North Syracuse High School. And the kickoff man, Adam Gressel, had to make the tackle. A 38-yard return by Branch, who won the national indoor championship in high school in the 60 meters at 6.82.
Well, that little zip speed you're talking about got him through the crack there on the left side. It doesn't take much when you can run as fast as he does. Of course, he's got to learn how to. He delivered the blow to the kicker.
Yeah.
He did his job.
The kicker hung in there. Give him credit.
Yeah.
Branch, one of 9 children, so you learn to run fast when they call you for dinner.
Hit hard, keep him off the line.
Fast.
I'm glad I only had one brother at the time.
So a chance to take a shot if they want to from midfield. Orlovsky has the big arm. He has his man on the sideline. Henry goes out of bounds. Now this would be a long field goal try, and they're going to try it, although the track record is not good. Newsy has never made a field goal from beyond 40 yards, 0 for 6 in his career, and 4 for 16 in his career in field goals of 30 yards or longer.
This is over 30.
Yeah, this is 49. It's matching the longest attempt of his career. He tried a 49-yarder last week against Army and missed it. And a timeout called by Pittsburgh.
Did you see the game last night where Miami of Ohio, Hepler, he had 3 timeouts to burn. He burned them all. I mean, right in a row. Boom, boom, boom.
You can't take him with you, right?
He couldn't. It didn't. And the kid missed the field goal right before half.
Randy Edsall summons his troops. Gives us time to remind you that Saturday at 3:30 Eastern, ABC's college football lineup is terrific. Regional action, including number 4 Miami against Georgia Tech. Some of you will see number 18 Michigan versus Indiana, or Colorado and Missouri. And all the plays in that game we hope will have 4 downs. All the possessions anyway. No 5th down in that Colorado-Missouri game. Check local listings for the game in your area.
Oh, I see where you're headed on that.
Ancient history.
Oh, yeah.
But they don't forget.
Never.
They don't forget.
Especially you.
So here's Newsy, the sophomore from Trumbull, Connecticut, who's been clinging to his kicking job. Well, maybe Coach Harris was watching that telecast last night on the family of networks, because he might burn all of his timeouts.
Timeout.
He has.
Pittsburgh, their 3rd and final timeout.
Newsy's had his problems, but he's made some big kicks too. He kicked the game-winning field goal with 3.5 minutes to go against Duke, and last year he kicked the 27-yarder against Akron as time expired to win the game. They went from trailing to winning, but he's had his problems, as we chronicled, from beyond 30 yards, just 4 out of 16, and has never made one beyond 40. Career longest 38 last year at the University of Buffalo.
Yeah, well, Terry Hepner last night, you know, he had those 3 and he burned them, and the kid missed it. So maybe Walt's thinking, you know, I'm going to try it. What the heck?
Mentioned this is a pro-type atmosphere. Newsy was booed during the introduction of the starting lineups. Tough crowd at Rentschler Field.
Oh, man.
That is long enough. It is good. They're not booing him now.
You never know, big boy.
So great momentum for Connecticut as they head off. Walt Harris played for the tie. It is not tied at halftime. He's behind by 3 and with Heather.
Coach Harris, can you help explain the thought process out of the timeout to center the ball instead of going for the end zone?
Well, we thought 3rd and 12 would be difficult down there with the way we're pass protecting right this second. Got a young quarterback. We thought going in at halftime would be great. 10-10. So we just tried to play the percentages.
3 false starts, 1 delay a game. What adjustments will you make? Will you go to the silent count or maybe move away from the shotgun in the second half?
We're not in the shotgun that one time. But quite honestly, we got to listen to our quarterback better.
All right, Coach, we appreciate your time. Sean, back to you.
All right, Heather, thank you. At halftime, Connecticut 13, Pittsburgh 10. Let's join Reese Davis and Mark May in the studio. It's the Olive Garden halftime report.
All right, Sean, thank you very much. Usually you see a rainbow 3 like that out of UConn. It came off the hand of Ben Gordon rather than the foot of Matt Newsy. You heard what Walt Harris said there, but that is a real disparate attack at the end of a half, the way he approached the final seconds and the way Randy Edsall approached the final seconds of the half.
Well, you can't coach scared. Randy Edsall wasn't scared in making his decision in his decision process. If you're going to do this for Walt Harris on 3rd and long, when you've got time on the clock, you've got to throw the ball in the end zone. It sends a bad message to your football team that you are a passive coach. You can't coach and be a passive coach, because if you do, your players will play as passive players. Football is an aggressive sport. You have to attack the opposition. The Pittsburgh players in that locker room are probably looking at each other saying, can you believe we didn't go for that field goal? We went for the field goal. We didn't go for the touchdown. We should have gone for 7 there. Players talk. That happens.
And on the flip side of that, the UConn players aren't asking that right now.
Oh, they're patting each other on the back, pumping their arms up in the locker room, saying, hey, we got those points back. Can you believe that those guys went for a field goal instead of a touchdown?
And Orlovsky making the big throw. Newsy answering the crowd. UConn's up by 3 at the break. Coming up on the Olive Garden halftime report. Game going on in Colorado Springs. The midshipmen in town to take on the Air Force Academy. Option football at its finest. And will Friday night be the night this BCS Buster gets busted? We'll look ahead to Utah and New Mexico. That's coming up in just a moment.
Orlovsky gets the bracket pitch. Got a hold on the right side.
ESPN2's presentation of college football primetime continues from Rentschler Field in East Hartford, Connecticut. At halftime, the homestanding UConn Huskies lead Pittsburgh 13-10. Sean McDonough along with Craig James. It was a very interesting first half.
It was. You know, Pitt has that huge punt when they got in trouble down here in the end zone on this corner, and the crowd was really infecting their snap count. They had like 2 or 3 false starts. The 74-yard punt, I thought, was a key part of the football game, believe it or not. Now, Pitt has to adjust to the crowd level and the crowd noise, and special teams is going to end up resulting in the win for one of these two teams tonight, and that big field goal going in at half is an indication of that.
Well, Heather Cox asked a couple of key questions to Walt Harris and addressed the issue of the crowd noise, and I really think they were going to quick kick on that play where he did go in the shotgun. So we weren't in the shotgun. That was one time that they were, and I think it was designed to be a quick kick.
You're exactly right, because the H-back goes over to the right side to protect the quick kick punter. So, you know, it's just a real sensitive game that you're in right now as a head coach. And you heard Walt Harris tell Heather, you know, we felt like percentage-wise, 3rd and 12, let's don't make a mistake, let's go in tied up. The signal you send the team, though, you're protecting them a little bit.
And you're not tied up. I mean, you play for the tie, you're not even tied. I understand he is a young team, but you know, this is their 4th game of the year. There comes a time, to borrow an expression from Dick Vermeil, you have to take the diapers off and go out and play. And you know, maybe he needs to let his team go out and play a little bit more than that.
I'm really impressed with the quarterback, Palco. You know, I came here thinking a lot about Orlovsky, but Palco's impressed me tremendously with his legs and his arm.
UConn to get it first here in the 2nd half. Gressel's kickoff down to Larry Taylor. And the freshman brings it out to the 36-yard line. Let's take a look now at the KFC game track. A look at first half action. The Huskies scored first. A 7-yard interception returned by Justin Perkins. But then on the last play of the first quarter, it's Greg Lee, a 77-yard touchdown pass from Tyler Palco. Losing a field goal right at the end of the half. Longest of his career. For the teams that exchange field goals, that field goal made it 13-10. That's the score as the 2nd half begins. Orlovsky off target for much of the first half, on the money with that throw to Karan Henry, his 5th catch of the ball game to lead both teams. Darrell Rivas dumped him, but it's a gain of 15.
You notice that Henry, we said it about his 2nd catch, he might be the guy that steps up, driving off Rivas, the young freshman over there. A lot of respect for these receivers, and if they're going to give him that all night, of course Rivas got his bell rung. He hit him so hard.
Came off, but appears ready to go back in as he puts his helmet back on. Orlovsky now 10 for 24 passing for 136 yards. Ornell Brockington dropped for a loss. Back at the 50, a loss of 1. Brockington has rushed for 60 yards now on 14 carries. The defensive tackles combined on the stop, Dan Stevens and Vince Korchunas. And if you can ever in the history of college football find 2 defensive tackles smarter than those two, both academic All-Americans last year. Korchunas a 3.79 GPA, graduated with a tri-major in communications history and political science. He's in grad school. Stevens 3.76, already his degree in urban studies. He's now in graduate school.
It's an oxymoron, defensive tackle, academic All-American.
Well, with these two, Henry chopped down immediately on the corner by Josh Lay, and here's Heather Cox.
Sean, I was able to talk to Coach Etzel at the half, and I asked him about the play calling, all those home run plays that we saw in the first half, and he said it was purely situational. We saw that we wanted to take advantage of those corners. We thought we'd go after it. Whether or not we'll do it in the 2nd half depends on the way that Pittsburgh comes out and play defense. He said, otherwise, I'm happy with the offensive balance we've seen. We haven't been running the ball as much as we normally do because the passing game he's quite content with so far, guys. Craig, what do you think about that?
Well, you know, Heather, he's had the passing game there. Orlovsky just hasn't completed the ones, especially the ones over the middle. Dan needs to settle down.
Larry Taylor, the speedster in the backfield, could not break that tackle, or he had a first down and much more. Nice play by Josh Lay to get Taylor on the ground. Well, Randy Etzel says it. We've seen it. We want to be aggressive. We want to pass to set up the run. And we want to stretch the field in every direction, vertically and horizontally. And they certainly do that with their passing game. We saw that do it vertically earlier in the game, and on that play horizontally.
Well, like you said, they pass to set up the run, but right now the run is not working so much because the defensive tackles, those smart guys, are seeing and recognize it, getting in the hip pockets of the pulling guards.
Hussar to punt to Alan Richardson. Hussar punted 4 times for 42-yard average in the first half. Had a little backspin on that one, and it rolls out of bounds at the 15-yard line.
That's your 9-iron right there. Wedge in,
29-yard putt. That's about how far I hit it too. Saturday, 3:30. That's Eastern time. ABC's college football. A fantastic lineup of regional action, including the number 4 Miami Hurricanes against Georgia Tech. Some of you will see Michigan, Indiana, or Colorado, Missouri. So check or check the local listings for the game in your area. Tyler Palko under center. 1st and 10 from his own 15-yard line. He was 5 for 15 in the first half, but did throw the 77-yard touchdown pass. Kirkley dumped immediately by Alfred Fincher. Number of NFL scouts here, and I talked to a couple of them at the half, and the man they were talking most about was that man you just circled, Craig, Alfred Fincher.
You see the center trying to combo 68 to come off on Fincher. He gets hung up with the right guard. Defensive tackle did his job, kept the linebacker free, and Fincher just sucks him up, man. Ball carriers each finding him and putting the wood to him.
Palko running out of time, and he is sacked for the first time tonight. Sean Main and Tyler King in on the sack.
Number 40, Sean Main in on the sack.
It almost seemed like Palko, instead of running, which he has, normally when he's felt the pressure here, he's taken off at this point. He's had some big runs with his legs. Maybe he was just sitting in there a little bit long, trying to make sure he could throw it down the field before he ran.
2 for 8 on 3rd down tonight. This is 3rd down and 17. 3 wide receivers. See if they play conservatively again here. Backed up to their own end zone. No, they don't. Palko forced to run, and he won't get far. Back to the line of scrimmage, and that's all. It's Fincher again. He's demonstrated his terrific speed all night long.
Joined by number 11, Maurice Lloyd. 4th down and 17.
Well, you know, one of the things we've seen now, Larry Taylor, 24 on punt returns, really hasn't seen the ball well traveling through the air. First punt of the game, punt return, he muffed it, and then he misread the next punt. So, you know, it's a mystery wonderland out there for Taylor at times.
Adam Grassel was slow to come out at the end of the half, and there's the backup punter into the ball game for Pittsburgh.
Boom.
Nick Prutt with the punt, and it's a pretty good one. But Larry Taylor finds an opening, and he's back to the 31-yard line.
Number 24, Larry Taylor.
Connecticut hasn't been very good on special teams. They're playing a lot of freshmen with speed, trying to make some plays, and Taylor made one. The fill-in punter kicked at 49, but Taylor brought it back 28.
Yeah, not much hang time there, and Taylor, nice job running. No mystery wonderland on this one here. Fields it cleanly, and you can see why they have him back there. He's got a lot of talent, a lot of quickness, a lot of shift to him.
1st and 10, Connecticut on the Pittsburgh 30.
From the 30, 1st and 10, UConn leading by field goal 5 minutes into the second half. 3 wide receivers, Cornell Brockington, the running back. They give it to Brockington through a big hole, 1st down across the 20. And down at the 19, tackled by Brian Bennett. Here's Heather Cox.
Well, Sean, you were right about punter Adam Gressel. He is out for the remainder of the game with a concussion. This is a big loss. He was a Big East Special Teams Player of the Week for his performance against Nebraska. Already 4 punts in the first half, so you will be seeing Nick Croup punting throughout the remainder of the game. I just talked to him before that last punt, and yes, guys, he had a bit of the jitters.
I bet he did. He is a very youthful-looking backup punter. Did a nice job on that kick. Croups a freshman from Clark Summit, PA. Orlovsky after a good fake as a man wide open. Jason Williams inside the 5 and down at the 4. Tyrone Gilliard, the strong safety, made the tackle on Jason Williams.
I tell you, watch the timing of how quickly he gets rid of the ball. Orlovsky, when he comes around, I mean, as soon as he does, as soon as the receiver comes to the inside and the fake, play action in the backfield, get your feet around, get rid of the football. Most quarterbacks will take another 2 steps because they're getting their body ready. That was very impressive.
Out of the shotgun, 4 wide receivers. Zing toward the end zone, incomplete. Looking for Karan Henry. Mike Phillips had the coverage. And will be 2nd down and goal from the 5.
But the play action really opened that up for them. And you know, they talk about the balance that they want to have with this offense. And Randy Edsall told Heather he was happy with the passing game. That's why he was going a lot with it. But he's still got to have some balance.
3 wide receivers, Brockington in the back. He takes the handoff and goes down at the 2. It will be 3rd and goal. And the clock down to 8:45 left in the 3rd quarter. Randy Edsall rewarded for the great job that he has done here in his 6th season with a contract extension a couple of weeks ago through 2009. Got a huge jump in pay, up to $900,000 a year for his total compensation package. 3rd down and goal. And Brockington won't get there. You could hear the pads popping all the way up here. H.B. Blades with the hit, stopping that play for no gain. And now Coach Edsall has a decision to make. And he's going to kick a field goal.
Yes, take the points. Nice job by your punt returner Taylor, getting the ball up the field, giving you good field position. You got to come away with points.
It's Lucy, after a shaky start to this season and difficulties on long field goals last year, starting to find a groove. Made his last 2 against Army last week to get a little confidence. Made the longest one of his career, a 49-yarder to end the half. This is from 20 and good.
And the kick is good.
Matt Newsy gives Connecticut the 6-point lead. Sean McDonough, Craig James, Heather Cox back at sold-out Rentschler Field in East Hartford, Connecticut, the new home of the Connecticut Huskies in its 2nd year as home of the football program. Still the newest stadium in Division I-A football. Nobody built the new one that opened this year, so this still has the distinction.
A nice announcer's booth, plenty of room to walk around.
This is NFL caliber right up
big,
here.
big booth.
Of course, another one of the newest is Heinz Field, which the Pittsburgh Panthers share with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Another beautiful new facility.
But a full house on a Thursday night. You know, I mean, that just shows you it doesn't have to be on a Saturday afternoon, Saturday night to fill up the stadium.
A lot of people calling in sick tomorrow. Little pooch kickoff and a fair catch signaled. In a collision, but the Panthers did hang on to the ball at the 33-yard line. It was Jamil Brady who handled that little pop-up kickoff by Newsy, and there is a flag down on the play. Brady caught it. He was not the man who made the fair catch signal. He collided with that player.
Dead ball. Personal foul. 45 on the kicking team. 15-yard penalty. 1st down.
Well, a little extracurricular activity. Watch 45. He's right over here. He's moving to the top of the screen at the top left. He just gives him a little bit of
a punch.
Yeah. I mean, that's a punch.
Julius Williams, that was not very bright. Gets the ball out near midfield at the 49-yard line.
So you had field position again, key in this half. Punt return by Larry Taylor gives Connecticut a chance at 3 points. Short little pooch kickoff there. Backfires with a personal foul. Now at midfield, Pittsburgh starts.
First flag of the night thrown against the Huskies. Marcus Furman, the lone back. Swing to the formation to the right. He tried to cut it back left and couldn't get outside. It's Tyler King again. Well, you and I have talked to a lot of players over the years preparing for these games. I'm not sure I've ever met anybody as intense 24 hours before a game as Tyler King yesterday. He looked like he wanted to put on the pads yesterday and go out and play.
His dad, little NFL background.
And Steve King, terrific player for 9 years with the New England Patriots and some very good teams under Chuck Fairbanks in the mid and late 70s. Tyler King leads all defensive linemen in the Big East in tackles entering tonight's action. After the loss of a couple, Palco steps up with running room. And it's Fincher again with his 12th tackle of the night, his 5th solo stop at the 45 of Connecticut. And that's good for a gain of 8. Makes it a manageable 3rd down.
It'll be 3rd down and 5.
And you know, that to me, that's Pittsburgh's running attack tonight, right? It's Palco's legs. And so he took a sack on the last series when he probably should have run. He needs to go ahead and use those legs.
8 carries, 41 yards rushing for Palco. He has 3 wide receivers, and Kirkley goes out into the pattern. The pass caught by Del Sardo for a 1st down. Excellent throw. He had to thread that through into a tight spot to Del Sardo, who made the catch in traffic. A gain of 13. Hargrave, the tackler, they're at the 32, 1st and 10.
Isn't that the guy that you said that wanted to get a scholarship?
Hey, a scholarship or I'm leaving.
Yeah, it's a good thing they gave him one, because that was a clutch catch right there and showed a lot of courage going inside. And again, that shows you Palco's strength to throw the football. He's not coming back in the pocket thinking to run. He's back there to throw it. You know, he's seeing the game, taking what it's given him.
Palco stumbled as he drifted back, throws to Del Sardo, and he made the over-the-shoulder catch. Now you know why they gave him a scholarship. Why wasn't even in question? Out of bounds at the 1-yard line.
Give his brother one, too.
Well, somebody else gave his brother one. Ralph played at Morehead State, where he was a team captain and Division I AA honorable mention All-American.
Now, this is where, you know, Palco was so blazing smart. Wow, that's right foot's in there. Possession, right foot's down. But again, a quarterback whose dad is a head football coach, he knew that he had the matchup he wanted. You saw him stumble, and he really regained his footing and got the ball to the single matchup.
Touchdown, an extra point would give them the lead. It's Palco for the touchdown. And if they kick the extra point, they will have the lead for the first time tonight.
Whew.
And fitting that Palco would take it in, since he's been their best rushing threat all night long. First career rushing touchdown for Tyler Palco, set up on the beautiful catch by Del Sardo. And here's Josh Cummings for the lead. He's not missed an extra point this year. And he's now 12 for 12 in that category. So Connecticut was stopped at the 2, settled for a field goal with a chance to take more than a touchdown lead. They have the lead no longer. Pittsburgh by 1 in the 3rd quarter.
ESPN2's College Football Primetime, brought to you by Spider, listed on the American Stock Exchange, and KFC. Don't miss the action in Chicken Capital USA, home of the Game Bucket Deal.
Welcome back to Rentschler Field, East Hartford, Connecticut. First Big East home game for UConn in their first year in the conference. Josh Cummings will handle the kickoffs now that Dressel's out of the ballgame with a concussion. He's their starting place kicker, but Dressel, the punter, had been the kickoff man this season. Well, he goes to the short pop-up kick as well. Fielded cleanly by Connecticut's Marvin Taylor. And they'll have good field position at the 38-yard line.
Go back and look at the formation. Look at that. They have 3 receivers. They get their single matchup up here. And this is why I'm saying Tyler Palco, when he stumbled coming out, regains his footing quickly because he knew he had the single matchup that he wanted. Free safety to the other side of the field. And a beautiful catch. You know, can't say enough about the focus Del Sardo had to bring that ball in.
Very good athlete, just 5'8", but Del Sardo at St. LaSalle High School in Pennsylvania was a 1,000-point scorer in basketball. He lettered in tennis and bowling. We all know bowlers are great athletes. Dave Ryan tells us that every week. Completion to Dan Murray, the tight end. 12 yards and a first down, and we check in with Heather Cox.
And a very familiar face and name to Patriots fan Steve King, whose son Tyler is out here. Now, Tyler told me yesterday that you guys talk almost every week about the game. What type of advice were you able to give him in preparation for this game?
About the only thing I tell him is stay focused, really study a lot of film, get to know your opponent, and just play hard on each and every down, and he does it.
You're a very familiar fixture in these stands. Tyler's a senior. Have you ever missed a game?
One game is sophomore year, the last game of the year, Heather, the Iowa State game, and I'll never regret it for a long time because they upset Iowa State.
Well, I heard it. You decided not to do it because it was 3 plane changes. Guys, that's what I do every week, 3 plane changes. It's normal. Thanks for turning. Back to you.
Yeah, that was really the biggest win that they've had, according to Randy Edsel, at Iowa State. That was an Iowa State team that had Seneca Wallace, had victories over Iowa and Nebraska that year. Connecticut went out at the end of the year and beat them to finish at 6-6 2 years ago. That momentum carried over to last year. They were 9-3. You like the John Randall eye black there.
John Randall looked like the Lone Ranger. I was thinking a little bit older than that. I'm going Lone Ranger.
Tyler King, by the way, an excellent cook. Team goes over to eat his barbecue at his apartment on campus. So if you're hungry after the game tonight, as you always are, you might want to stop by. Late flag, and they roughed the passer. Charles Select was putting some heat on Orlovsky, and perhaps too much.
A lot of pressure comes inside, and yeah. Boy,
oh,
geez.
boy. And he had him by the jersey and just swung him down after the ball was gone.
I don't know.
Wow. I don't blame Walt for being a little upset about that.
I'd write down too now on the paper, that the sheet, that the officials have not been kind to Pittsburgh on. The intentional grounding one I disagreed with, and that there.
So it's a 15-yard walk-off. It gets them to the 18-yard line. 1st and 10. Orlovsky zips one to the far side to Kataya. Out of bounds at the 12. A gain of 6. Reggie Carter had the coverage.
You know, we were talking about footwork. That was an impressive throw. I'm sitting up here and thinking, wow, now let's check his feet. Let's see what his feet do. Step. Look at that delivery. Now, on the one little slant we showed you earlier in the end zone where he overthrew the receiver, he didn't step into it. That was an impressive out. That's a long throw on the money.
2nd and 4 from the 12. Just lost the lead for the only time tonight. Here's Brockington. He got a wallop. He might have got the first down. The Panthers say the ball's on the ground, and we have it, but the officials are ruling him down. Tyrone Gilliard and H.B. Blades combined on that big hit on Brockington.
I thought that ball jumped out, Sean. That it came out of there. I mean, from up here, you're looking at it. Let's see what he does. But
it definitely came out. Just a matter of
balls.
Clearly a fumble.
Big time fumble.
Well, Walt Harris has another gripe to add to his list.
Yeah, no doubt. He's got 3.
That was clearly a fumble. It was a first down for the Huskies. 1st and goal from just inside the 8. 4:15 left in the 3rd quarter. Orlovsky to Williams, and he's dropped for a loss. Excellent open field tackle by Malcolm Postel. And he's off to a great start this season. Already 2 interception returns for touchdowns. One against Ohio, one against Furman.
A very aggressive, smart football player. Sometimes his aggressiveness hurts him and he gets out of position, but he's going for it. And you saw him break down just prior to getting there to make sure he had him squared up. That's that drill that Rhodes, the defensive coordinator, was working on.
Terrible tackling team last year. They've worked hard on it, and they're clearly a better tackling team this season. 2nd down and goal. Orlovsky, touchdown, Karan Henry. And Connecticut goes back on top. Eight-yard touchdown reception for Henry, the senior from Brooklyn, New York. And now Newsy to try to give them a 6-point lead again. And his kick is good, just inside the right upright.
Point after is good. Score, UConn, 23.
First meeting ever between Pittsburgh and Connecticut in football. Is this the birth of a rivalry? Pittsburgh and Connecticut, old rivals on the basketball court. They played in the last 3 Big East tournament finals, with Connecticut winning 2 of the 3. Tonight, their first game in football. And they're part of this new Big East. With Miami, Virginia Tech gone, Boston College will be gone next year. They were the natural rival for Connecticut. We asked Randy Edsel, is it important to have that rivalry? He said, yeah, I really think it is. We think Syracuse could be that team. Maybe Pittsburgh. It certainly isn't basketball. Maybe Rutgers. They're not far down the road.
Well, the Big East needs rivalries. They need Connecticut to come in here and to create some animosity and some competitiveness.
First day of Louisville, Cincinnati, and South Florida joining the conference. A lot of the coaches think South Florida with their location in Tampa is a sleeping giant. A lot of great players in that area. Newsy the kickoff. Furman a 21-yard return.
Well, let's go high above again. The tight end. Watch the tight end clear out. Motion comes back up underneath. This is timing. This is being patient. Offensive line giving the quarterback time for the play to develop. Well executed.
That capped a 6-play, 62-yard drive. It took just 2 minutes and 16 seconds off the clock. Back and forth we go in this first ever game between Connecticut and Pittsburgh. Furman stays in the game as the tailback, following the block of the fullback Justin Cherno, and John Fletcher made the tackle after a very short gain.
Connecticut defense just begging Palco to try to beat him with a pass. You know, they're up there to stop the run tonight.
And they have, as Pittsburgh has rushed for 67 yards in the game. A very good defense. I mentioned third in the Big East rush defense and 10th in the nation in total defense for the season, giving up under 250 yards per game total. Flag down. Palco hit as he throws. The catch is not made. It's out of bounds. The catch was made, but across the sideline by Eric Gill. Palco took a pop as he threw it, and a holding call. Maurice Lloyd delivered the blow as Palco threw it. The holding was back near the hash mark.
Not sure it wouldn't decline this thing.
I think they probably will.
Holding, 62 offense, penalties decline, third down.
Justin Bolarski, the center, guilty of the hold. Randy Edsel turned it down. We talk about this Blue Look Big East. We mentioned Randy's new contract. A lot of people who follow the Big East think that might have been a preemptive strike. Randy Edsel, a Syracuse graduate. Paul Pasqualoni clearly in trouble at Syracuse. Randy Edsel will be a logical candidate.
He's got a lot of green reasons to stay here right now.
Yes, he does. He said they've made a commitment to me and I have to them, but you always listen. So it didn't seem like the door was closed on any other possible opportunity despite that new contract. Palco throws, and it is batted down. Fincher again continues his fabulous night, and he's upset. He thought he should have had an interception.
You mentioned continues his fabulous night here. This man has been around the football since they kicked it off to start the game. Fincher just goes after it. Watch him on the corner, beats the blocker, gets to the outside, runs the back down, recognizes the play, gets inside. The guard can't come off, or center makes the play. He's a gamer. 6'1", 240, can move and has power down below.
Nick Krug, the backup punter. His second punt, and both of them have been more than respectable. Here's Taylor with some running room. Taken down by Mike Phillips at the 33-yard line. 38-yard punt, 23-yard return. And Connecticut with great field position. They'll begin inside the 35-yard line. 2:13 left in the third quarter. We'll be back with more from East Hartford, Connecticut right after this. Back in East Hartford, Connecticut. 2:13 left in the third quarter. The Huskies trying to go to 4-1 for the year, win their first Big East Conference game. Lead by 6. And they have the ball at the 33-yard line of Pittsburgh. Swing pass by Orlovsky. H.B. Blades runs down Cornell Brockington. Here's Heather.
Well, guys, it is absolutely no surprise that Al Fincher and Dan Orlovsky are having such great games. They feed off of each other. These roommates are the best of competitors. In fact, earlier this summer at 2 a.m., they decided to run the bleachers. Who could run the bleachers faster? They made such a commotion that 3 police officers and a police dog were called to break up the disturbance. Fortunately, one of those police officers recognized the 2 and let them off the hook if they promised to keep it down, guys.
And that was on a Saturday night. They were sitting around. Orlovsky said that Gives you an idea how much there is to do in stores. He throws one up for grabs, incomplete. And they decided, well, let's go run the stadium steps at Memorial Stadium on the campus. And folks who live in the area heard a lot of noise, called to complain about it. The police showed up. They discovered the noise was these two yelling at each other to encourage them to run harder, work out harder. How's that for dedication?
Or insanity.
Yeah. Noise on a Saturday night. And it's not a party. It's we're running the stadium steps. You're looking at me like you don't really believe that that's a true story.
Suckers probably went out there and ran one bleacher and went home. But it sounds good.
They're down in 11. Really not in very good field goal range here for Newsy, although he did make a long one. Now there's a flag down. The catch was made by Dan Murray, but this is going to come back for a holding call, I believe. Yes, it is just the second penalty of the night against UConn, but a big one.
And I think the decision is the discussion. Did he catch the ball so that we know whether we have to take the penalty or not? But the umpire threw the flag, so he couldn't tell whether he got it.
Holding, 78 offense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat third down.
Yeah, they ruled it a catch because one of the officials had spotted the ball at about the 26-yard line.
Right side, 78, top. Yep, whoops, yep.
Grant Preston, 3-year starter at tackle, very hard worker.
That's like the dog stealing the guy's, chicken and feathers all in his mouth, and he says, hey, I didn't do it.
That's what it reminded you of?
Yeah. Hands up in the air.
Third down and 20. Orlovsky lobs it out, incomplete, almost a lateral. It was slightly forward over the head of Larry Taylor, who's just 5'6". And the defensive tackle, Vince Prochunas, running out there in coverage.
Now, how about that series? You get a great punt return by Larry Taylor, gets them up there again to where they're in striking distance almost. Couple of cramps in the mind there. Bad throw here, bad throw there, and a holding, and next thing you know, they're punting the football.
Hussar to punt again. His 6th punt of the night. The former wrestler and discus thrower in high school. Linebacker, fullback, and punter at American Heritage High School in Fort Lauderdale. Richardson bounced off the first hit, but then was tripped up as he tried to escape. Tripped up by Danny Lansana. A 34-yard punt, nothing on the return. Hood Carb Countdown is pleased to bring you these stunning aerial views of today's football action. Live from the Hood Carb Countdown light ship. How many hot dogs at halftime? Fess up.
I only had one. At least that's
your story. And
it's kind of like me and Fincher and Orlovsky in those steps. I think I just had one.
From the 9. Out of the eye. The pitch back to Raymond Kirkley, and he's hit by Fincher. And they competed everything. Orlovsky told us yesterday we compete on who can walk to class faster, who can eat a meal more quickly. In addition to the usual stuff, the video games, which seems like every college football player in America is involved with these days.
I think he's intimidating these ball carriers because Pittsburgh, they had a blocker on a corner out there tied up, and it's like they feel him coming from the inside. His speed's just sucking him up.
Palco flushed from the pocket. He's had a run all night long. And the tackle broken by Kirkley for a first down. Had they been able to get him on the ground, he would have been short of the first down. Finally, James Hargrave forced him out. That's a 14-yard pickup and a 1st and 10 for the Panthers. And it was Fincher in pursuit of Palco.
And because Fincher thought that he was going to get to the quarterback, it opened up the fullback, Kirkley, the tailback in the flat. But that's what if you had little stars you were putting on helmets, you give them an attaboy on that one, because that was a big play by Palco.
Could be the last play of the quarter. And Palko wants to make it another big play to end a quarter like he did in the first quarter. It's Lee again who made the juggling catch. If he stayed on his feet, it was a touchdown after he ripped it away from Justin Perkins. Almost an instant replay of the last play of the first quarter when they scored on a 77-yard touchdown reception by Lee. That one's good for 52.
This is a pretty neat battle going on outside between Lee and Perkins. They've had the cat and mouse game going left and right. The ball's up, one-on-one single coverage. And again, Larry Fitzgerald would take care of this play in the past. Now, maybe Greg Lee becomes their guy.
That's the end of the quarter. 23-17 Connecticut. Well, a career night for Lee in reception yards, 129. He's done it on just 2 catches. 77-yard touchdown, the last play of the first quarter. Then that 52-yard reception that was nearly another touchdown. That has Pittsburgh at the 24-yard line of Connecticut on the first play of the fourth quarter. The Panthers down by 6.
He could not have made that catch had not Palko made the third down scramble conversion a snap before.
Palko's at very little pass protection. Anything they've done in the passing game has been largely a byproduct of his ability to escape the rush. Still rushed for just 69 yards as a team. Palko, a design run, it appeared. Whoa. His head snapped back. He's lost the football at the 20-yard line. Alan Barnes laid the wood on him. And the Huskies have recovered the fumble. Well, that's the risk you take when you have a design run for the quarterback. You expose him to taking a shot, and he took a shot. And I think Tyler King recovered the fumble after Barnes walloped Palko.
He just lost his footing, and therefore he lost everything. And
Fincher pulled it out.
Fincher wasn't it? Number 9.
Yeah, he held on to the ball after that big hit. It was Fincher with the strip.
Second guy comes in, tries to strip. It's taught everywhere, and had not he lost, if he hadn't lost his footing, I think he'd have covered up and been okay.
A huge turnover when it looked like Pittsburgh was driving to at least get within a field goal, if not take the lead. Now Brockington escapes across midfield and knocked out of bounds at the 45-yard line of Pittsburgh. A 35-yard run.
You know, big play right after you get the turnover. Watch the left guard. Watch how he walls it off. Look at the turn. This is a beautiful job of blocking. Finds the linebacker, pushes him out, loses lane containment, assignment on defense, and Brockington shows you vision, a little speed.
He's mostly an inside the tackles runner, but he got outside there for his longest run of the season. A career high 128 yards rushing now for Brockington. His third straight 100-yard game, 4th of his career. All 4 games he started, he's had 100 yards. That ball's up in the air and in bounds and recovered by Pittsburgh. Wow. Sam Dorval, the fullback, fumbled right along the sideline. Reggie Carter knocked it out, and H.B. Blades recovered for Pittsburgh. So on the exchange of turnovers, the Panthers have it back at their own 36.
And just like that, I mean, helmet goes to the ball on the outside. It just one of those freak deals.
That was in bounds.
Definitely in bounds.
Carter got a helmet on it, and Blades recovered. A couple of Floridians combining on the big play. Dorval's in there for Deion Anderson. Anderson missed practice time this week. He's usually the starting fullback. Had personal matters to tend to, so Dorval got the call at fullback tonight instead of Anderson. Palko to Kirkley, and he just cannot get away from Alfred Fincher. He's in on every play.
Well, that really was a problem, a fault of Palko. He was open. Kirkley right away, get it to him, and he thought he about throwing it. Then he let Fincher catch up to him. Then he throws the ball out there. Got to take what the defense gives you, get it to him right now. But you like the moxie of Palko, don't you? You can see the fire in his belly. He goes to the sideline. He's ready.
Brandon Mason in a tailback. He gets the toss. Cuts it to the inside and gets to the 42. Well, Palco is the son of a coach. I mentioned his dad, Bob, a successful high school coach at West Allegheny. Tyler played for his dad. Todd Orlando is on the defensive staff at the University of Connecticut. He's the inside linebacker coach. He signals in the defenses that Palco's going against. There's Todd. Todd's brother is Bob Palco's assistant coach at West Allegheny High School.
You know, and you see how intense his face is right there?
The guy you want
this game,
linebackers.
And this game's a physical game, by the way. I mean, they're hitting out there now.
3rd down and 4. Big play. Palco hit as he throws. It's incomplete. Maurice Lloyd, the linebacker, delivered the hit on Palco. Tyler King also in the backfield. And the Panthers will punt with 13 minutes left in regulation time. And it's Crute for the 3rd time, taking over in this half for Grassel, who left with a concussion.
But you can feel the intensity pick up on the field, the hitting. They definitely sense 4th quarter, and there's a shot at it.
Larry Taylor waiting for the punt. Wobbly but angled toward the sideline. Bounces straight up in the air a couple of times and goes dead at the 22.
Guarantee you that's what they told him to do. Punt the football out of bounds. We can't cover punts right now. Don't even give him a chance.
12:50 left in the 4th quarter. Connecticut on its home field leading Pittsburgh by 6. Sean McDonough with Craig James will rejoin Heather Cox in a moment. What do you look for here down the stretch?
Well, right now they've got to protect the ball because the defenses are definitely getting around it more. They're trying to strip the football. Somebody will make a mistake down the middle. Orlovsky has to take advantage of the openings that they've had against Pitt's defense in the middle.
Connecticut with the ball, 1st and 10 from its own 22-yard line. Dorval and Brockington in the eye. Neither team could take advantage of the fumbles they exchanged a moment ago. And Orlovsky throws, and it's almost picked off. Reggie Carter, who forced the fumble a moment ago, nearly had an interception to go with it. He saw that coming, but couldn't corral it. Pittsburgh had the lead very briefly, 17-16. Their first lead given to them by Tyler Palco. But the Huskies answered. Orlovsky to Henry. And the exchange of fumbles. Fincher ripping it away from Palco. Carter heading it away from Dorval. But neither team capitalized on the turnover. Orlovsky 19 for 37. 191 yards. He gives it to Brockington, who's well over 100, and he'll add to that total. Out to the 45-yard line. Darrell Rivas and Tez Morris finally able to drag him down. The game track was brought to you by KFC. That's a 23-yard gain for Cornell Brockington.
Lane assignments now has cost the defense a lot. Watch the pursuit to the outside. He jumped back inside. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
When you
pointed it out, big boy.
When you jump back inside, you've blown your lane responsibility, and Brockington's finding it.
From the 45, 1st and 10. They'll keep it on the ground with Brockington. He's chopped down for a loss of a yard. Kyle Smith, reserve defensive end, made the tackle.
Pitt's defense will look back at this game if they don't win. Even if they do, and they're going to say, fellas, we have to catch the football. When the quarterback gives us a chance to intercept it, there have been, in my estimation, 3 tonight. Pittsburgh's defense has not put in the breadbasket.
Last year they couldn't tackle, now they can't catch. Chris Bellamy in at running back. He's been a starter in the past, 5th-year senior from New Britain, Connecticut. Orlovsky throws, and it is caught. No, it isn't. Incomplete. Jason Williams couldn't hang on as he went up in the air. Darrell Rivas delivered the hit. Keith Hill put a pop on Orlovsky, who's still smarting from it.
And he threw the ball awkwardly, first of all, because a great athletic move just to throw it, and then watch him get hit. I mean, that was an awkward athletic delivery
You know, we watch these people play. Sometimes we forget they're human beings just like all of us with all the issues of life. Orlovsky, a young man, his parents separated when he was less than a year old. He stayed with his dad. He has not seen or talked to his mother in more than 15 years, even though she lives about 10 minutes away. Bad snap. Orlovsky has to fall on it. Oh. Back at the 23. I don't know if it was a bad snap or he just wasn't ready for it, but it got by him.
Yeah, he wasn't ready, Sean.
Yep.
I mean, the ball just goes darting right by him. He's still calling out. No, he's, you know, and that ball, and watch how great a job he does of wrapping his body around the football and recovering it. I mean, that's smart.
21-yard loss. Orlovsky grew up with his dad and his sister who graduated from Connecticut. An older sister lived with his mom, and he's had very little interaction with her, too. Alan Richardson back for the punt. Hussar standing at his 10. 4th down and 32. Low snap.
Oh, man.
But nobody in his face. He got it off. A low line drive punt that takes a nice roll and goes to the 45 of Pittsburgh, where there was pressure on Hussar's right, but nobody right in front of him to block that after the low snap. A 32-yard punt.